Imagine a world choked by smog, and your bills are forcing you to choose between light and heat. Now imagine a different future, where people have clean air, affordable power, and our planet is thriving. So this demonstrates the importance of UN Development Goal 7, ensuring access to reliable, affordable, and clean energy for all. Our group's name is the Power Rangers, and we're working on UN Development Goal 7. Ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. However, millions of people around the world are lacking access to energy, and especially those in rural areas. A report from the International Energy Agency says that 571 million people are lacking access to energy in 2022. This is up from 566 million people in 2010. They are lacking access to clean and reliable energy. This stifles their economic growth, their education, and their healthcare. This isn't just a humanitarian crisis, it's also an environmental one. As we generate electricity using fossil fuels, we are contributing to the climate change problem, which impacts our most vulnerable communities more. Without action, we are putting our planet and millions of people at risk. This brings us back to UN Development Goal 7. But what does affordable and clean energy actually mean? What we mean by affordable energy is energy that can be obtained while maintaining your essential needs. This can be particularly hard in sub-Saharan Africa, where some communities are rural or economically disadvantaged. Clean energy is energy that is sustainable and can be low in emissions. Some examples are solar, wind, hydroelectric, and biomass. But how are engineers trying to harness the powers of clean energy for everyone?
There are many types of renewable energy sources. However, only a few currently stand out as feasible solutions. Water power plants like the Hoover Dam are powerful but are limited because they need to be near a source of water. Wind power, on the other hand, is very powerful and doesn't need to be near a water source. However, they do require flat, windy terrain. The strongest choice, however, might be solar panels, since they only need constant sunlight. This means solar panels can be used in large plants like the Villanueva Solar Park in Mexico, or just small homes, although they don't work as well in places that don't get a lot of sun.
One of the ways that the U.S. is trying to create positive change is by creating wind and solar power plants. The best place to put these plants is in the central U.S., where they'll get plenty of wind and sun. Then they transfer this power over to the more populated cities near the coasts. There is one problem, however. The current power line systems can't handle that much power. There are a couple ways to solve this problem. One of these solutions is creating bigger and better power lines in order to hold that much power. Alternatively, engineers have tried to create solar panels that are commercially viable. That way, people can buy their own solar panels without having to overly rely on power plants.
Another problem with wind and solar power is that they can't always supply constant power like other non-renewable sources. Another problem with wind and solar power is they can't always supply constant power like other non-renewable sources.
Luckily, engineers are developing new ways to store energy,
like storing it as potential energy. The energy generated from solar and wind plants is used to lift up blocks of concrete. When the energy is needed again, the blocks are released. This causes a turbine to spin, which generates electricity, therefore changing the potential energy back to electrical energy. These batteries are actually based off of another method of storing energy from the early 1900s called hydroelectric energy storage. They're similar to gravity batteries, however, they use water to store and release potential energy instead of using concrete blocks. They pump water up into an elevated lake using excess energy from other power plants and then release it back down through a turbine when the energy is needed again. According to research from the University of Michigan, this storage method supplied for 96% of the U.S.'s energy storage capacity in 2022. The U.S. also predicts that energy storage should increase by 89% by the end of 2024.
According to the International Energy Agency, 8 out of 10 people don't have access to energy in 2022 are living in the rural areas. So the reasons for that might be first of the recent COVID pandemic or disruption in the energy market. So that could be the Ukrainian wars or increasing droughts and flood due to climate changes. And these people that are lacking in energy is also become increasingly harder to reach out because they live in remote places and they have low income. On top of that, they're also concentrated in least developed countries where they are affected by fragility and violence. So one possible solutions to tackle this is that we can use solar power mini-grids, which provide decentralized and renewable energy tailored to rural areas. However, the initial cost for installations can be high. So one article written by Russian researchers Karamov and Ilyushin discussed that we can use hybrid power system which combines solar power and other sources like diesel or wind or micro hydro, which balance out the supply fluctuation and reduce the battery storage requirements. Hybrid systems like these can provide more reliable and efficiently cost mini-grids.
So the figure here is the operation of a hybrid energy system with renewable energy sources and storage batteries. As you can see, there's a diesel power plant on the top right, running parallel with a more renewable energy system on the top left with a photovoltaic system and or wind farm. All of these sources provides energy to the consumer's bus and then goes straight to the consumer. The excess energy will be directed towards the storage batteries. And in the cases of a shortage in energy production, energy in storage batteries will be directed to the consumer bus and go to the consumers.
Electricity as an engine of growth directly impacts many socioeconomic activities and living standards. So Barkat and others noted that electrified irrigation can boost agriculture, industries, and personal income in rural Bangladesh. McMenemy and Hikari noted that micro hydropower and solar home system improve rural living standards in Nepal. And in Kenya, Kirby and others noted that electricity can help improve delivery service at local school and clinics. So, what can you do as an audience of undergraduate and graduate students? First, you can participate in energy-focused competitions like the DOE Solar Decathlon, the Clean Tech competition, or just local hackathons so that you can work on sustainable energy projects. These opportunities will provide you with mentorship and resources that bring ideas to life. And if you don't fancy that, you can also work in renewable energy projects in rural and underserved areas of southeastern U.S., help installing solar panels or educate about energy conservation.
Energy is one of the main contributors to how we live our lives. Everyone needs to support the efforts to improve accessibility, affordability, and clean energy methods to build a long-term solution. We want the technology to be efficient and reliable to keep consumer costs low, so when implemented, there are no daily barriers restricting energy access. The research efforts by engineers all over the world are being combined to tackle the UN Sustainable Development Goal 7. Even if you can't see how your contributions are impacting your community, you must understand that this is a global project. We want to encourage you to get involved and make small investments in energy studies at your local companies or universities. We want third world countries to have the same accessibility and quality of living as the rest of the larger countries.
The credibility of sources are crucial to ensure that the information is accurate, reliable, and trustworthy. These credible sources typically come from reputable institutions such as government agencies, academic research, and recognized non-governmental organizations. For example, we use journal articles and reports from the International Energy Agency, the International Renewable Energy Agency, the United Nations Statistics Division, the World Bank, and the World Health Organization. The studies conducted from these organizations provide well-researched data and a high level of expert analysis. We valued that they sent their data and methodologies through a thorough review process to ensure accuracy and validity.